Yep, against all odds, the Charger does live again. Drove it down to the 8th annual Cars with Character car show a couple days ago, along with Austin and the 38 Chevy. I'll go more into that event here shortly. In terms of the engine swap, I didn't end up filming a whole lot getting the 360 actually in the Charger because it was quite a hectic little last minute push to get this ready in time for the show. And since we put on the show, I felt kind of inclined to have at least one car here. Since the last video, some things happened as we were trying to get the old 318 and 727 out of here. Dad didn't know that the adjuster deal, it screws back and forth and it gives you a different angle depending on what you need to get everything slid out of an engine bay. He didn't understand that it also pulled everything back and forth as it was being adjusted. So the core support here got caught between the snout of the water pump and the pulley. It destroyed that. It dragged the car off of the ramps it was sitting on, so it was all pulled out of shape. We ended up just cutting it out and taking the whole bumper and valance and everything off, pulling everything out front, and then putting the new one in through the front. I was able to straighten this out a little bit, but it's still a little finicky getting the hood to close right, and the radiator is now a little out of whack, so had to clearance the fan shroud, otherwise that would continue making contact. I spent probably a couple days cleaning this block, and I'm really glad I did. This is the first time we've done an engine swap in the Charger where I actually had time to do something like that, and to me personally it was worth it. I don't own nice things, but I would like it to look clean in the engine bay, and it does, at least for the time being. The motor itself seems really healthy, and it should. It has 20-some thousand original miles. It came out of a 75 Chrysler Cordoba that was hit by a train, and then either the car or just the block ended up hopping from auction to auction and owner to owner. Eventually I got it last fall, and here it sits now. So the block is in really good shape. The water passages, though, there's a lot of flaky rust that is gathering in the cooling system. So right now I'm just running water, and every few times I run the car, I drain everything out. Eventually I'll put some cleaner in there and everything, but I'm just trying to get the big chunks out right now. There are still a couple vacuum leaks, and the exhaust doesn't seal up as good as I would want it to, and things like that. Small little nitpicky stuff. And then there's the whole issue with the transmission kickdown linkage. I didn't know that was different between a 2-barrel and a 4-barrel setup, and I was pretty much peer pressured by Brian to put a 4-barrel on here because he found a THERMOQUAD at the dump and really wanted to know if it ran. And you know, clearly it does run. It doesn't run great. It likes to idle, and the primaries are okay, but everything past that is just bogged to the point the car wants to turn off. However, for something that was literally found at the dump, I will give the phenolic resin credit that it runs at all. I'm quite impressed it idles the way it does, and that it doesn't leak like a sieve, so I'll give it props there. I have ordered a rebuild kit for this and a book, so I hope to go through it and make it better and not worse. I'm always paranoid about taking apart a carburetor because, as you heard, this one runs pretty okay at idle and like quarter throttle. So I don't want to really fuck that up, but I need more than quarter throttle to really enjoy this car. So hopefully I can make it a little bit better than it is now. Also, I need to try to find the proper kickdown linkage setup for a 4-barrel car, or try to jerry-rig this one to actually work. From what I understand, at full throttle, you should have very little play left in the kickdown arm itself on the transmission. You maybe move it like the gap of a spark plug or so back yet. I have a 1/4 to 1/3 of an inch still, and you can see here I'm maxed out. So either I can try to make this bar a little longer and get more play out of it, or I need to get the different mount for the intake. I need to get the different arm, and I've been seeing that some of the ears on the transmission are actually bent differently. So It's really hard to find information anymore on certain things. It was kind of actually quite irritating trying to put this together. You used to be able to just go on Google or search engine of your choice, type in your inquiry, and get relatively accurate information, even if it was from a blog post from 40 years ago. Anymore, you can't really seem to do that anymore. It's just AI, or again, you're back at the blog posts where it's just two old guys bickering back and forth on who's right, and you're left there no wiser than you were before you opened the link. This frustration led me to going on eBay and ordering a manual for the THERMOQUAD, a factory manual for the Charger itself, and I am trying to find one for the 727 904s as well, just so that I have what should be correct information on hand at all times for this car, because I'm going to be messing with this car for years to come. I'm unsure if I'll video any of the fine-tuning and little nitpicky stuff I want to complete on the car. We'll see how the weather is and what my mood is any given day. But it runs and moves under its own power again, which is nice. It's nice for anything in the yard that you can just get in and move if it's blocking something else in. In other news, around working on the Charger and prepping for the car show, I took the Ronnie truck on a, I would say, 600-mile round trip to Glen Allen. Weekend of 4th of July. That's why there was a tire missing off of the Hearse here, because that was my spare for the trip. It was the least shitty of the four on this. The truck got a whopping 11.2 miles a gallon on the trip, and besides a few little issues and concerns, it did really well, which I'm very pleased about, because I hadn't prepped that truck to go out of town. That wasn't going to be my first choice for a road trip vehicle, but it's what was running at the given time. So, as you can see by the few pictures I'm putting up here, it was a pretty nice trip, good weather, and, you know, it's cool to get pictures of the truck in front of landmarks and whatnot on trips like this. I had hoped to get the flat Charger to our Cars with Character car show this year. However, putting the 43 Charger together, it took a lot more time than I was expecting it was going to, and you were very dependent on what the weather was doing. So, didn't quite get around to this, but this will be a video, I swear, yet this fall, where we at least see it move under its own power in the yard. So look forward to that. Later today, I'm actually going to start working on this again, so I'll see if I film anything. But anyway, we'll see how many of you remember this beauty. I had this in the yard for a couple years. I got it in a deal where I had to purchase 4 vehicles to get the one I wanted, yada yada. But it was always really cool. Tried to get it running. I failed several times, and then I gave it to Austin with the caveat that he had to get it running, drive it to Chino Hot Springs. Well, he did get it running. They did drive it to Ivory Jack's for burgers. Hasn't gone to Chino Hot Springs yet, but I bug him about that every couple weeks. What he wanted to do is bring it to the car show this year, so here it sits in my yard because I'm staged about 5 miles away from said show. And he drove this thing down there. And I gotta say, watching this go down the road is one of the coolest experiences of the summer, to say the least. It's just, look at it. I was one of the blocker cars, helping them get it back into my yard the evening after the show. And watching this go down the narrow 2-lane roads out here in Fox, it looked like you were brought back to the 30s through the 50s. It was really cool. It still runs like a top, too. I have some clips of this after the show, from some shenanigans that occurred in the parking lot there. That'll be near the end of the video that you should either skip forward to or keep watching to see. Also, from Brian, I picked up 2 Ford Explorers. This is a 94, and this one's a 96. I'm trying to practically give away the 96 because it has a blown motor and a little bit too much rot behind the plastic, so not worth doing anything with for me. But the 94 is in really good shape. It needs an ignition control module and, you know, spark plugs, oil change, stuff like that, and it might be ready to go. So I'll be messing around with this here soon because I got to get it prepped for winter, which, you know, 2 months away or so, we might have snow already. So I should probably get on this sooner than later. But it's pretty nice. I always was a fan of Jurassic Park growing up, so you see these, and that's what I think of right away. It's nice that it has lockout hubs still. It's a 4.0 and an automatic, nothing special. but it doesn't need to be anything special for a winter daily driver. Might want to get that window though, because otherwise it's going to be just a little chilly. And now as it starts to rain, I'll do a little voiceover as I show photos from the 8th annual Cars with Character Car Show. I'm sure I say it every year, but every year the show is more successful than the year prior. We had a grand total of 105 to 110 vehicles show up this year. We ran out of registration slips around number 94, I believe. And yeah, it was just, parking went phenomenal. Carter did a really great job this year, making sure everybody wasn't retarded and was mindful of the space we had to work with. We collected a whopping 507 Hot Wheels this year for donation this December to our local hospital to be handed out to patients and families. That is a lot of toy cars. Like, we loaded everything in the back of the Charger. It actually made the thing sag. If you think about it, with Hot Wheels being $1.25 in this economy, that's over $630 worth of toys that we collected in one day, just because everybody came together. So, in my opinion, that's pretty fucking cool. As I stated earlier, Austin took the 38 back into town, and he drove that down to the show, which was super cool to see. Brian as well took down a few vehicles, including Eureka, and you'll see some footage here in a minute, scientific footage, showing which is slower between the 38 and Eureka. I met a lot of new people at the show this year. It's always fun to see things come out of the woodwork that you've never seen out at another show, let alone on the road. And I also got to catch up with people who come to the show yearly, but you don't really see much other than at the car show. We had a pretty phenomenal article in the Fairbanks Daily News Miner, which helped advertise for the show a lot, I believe, because we weren't slacking, I would say, this year for advertising, but it wasn't as balls to the walls as we used to be, posting in every Facebook group known to man and putting the flyers out on every surface in town. If any of you who came to the show are watching, I appreciate your attendance greatly. It was a fantastic year, and I hope to see you again next year. And a big thank you to everybody who helped organize the car show. Not only did they all help organize the car show, but they all helped me get the Richard Petty Charger to said show. Like I said, Brian graciously donated the THERMOQUAD from the dump, as well as the air breather. And then when it came time to actually get the Charger running, Austin was a huge help getting all of the fine-tuning details finished up so that we could actually hear it go up and down the road. And while we were all busy trying to frantically get our projects going for the show, Sienna in the background was making sure that there was actually going to be a show. Arranging food trucks, porta potties, making sure voting slips are printed out, printing out flyers, doing press releases, talking to the news miner. And then you have the really cool trophies that both Brian and Austin cobbled together from their scrap piles. A lot of the times when I'm talking to people at the show, they all refer to it as my show, and I try to correct them whenever I can that it is very much so a group effort. If I was the only one trying to throw all this together, it probably wouldn't have happened for the last 4 years. But anyway, that's enough yapping from me. I just want to make sure everybody knows that they're appreciated. And I hope you enjoy the following footage of an El Camino doing a trailer burnout and a scientific test of speed in the Fox 10 parking lot. And I'll see you in the next video.
Alright, the trophy will be fine. I want to go ahead and thank everybody for coming out to the 8th annual Cars with Character Car Show right here in beautiful Fox, Alaska. We appreciate everybody coming in and registering and enjoying the car show and putting in your votes and all around just having a good time with us out here. We went ahead and got our trophies together. It's hot out here, so let's not stand out here forever. Now, if you're new here, we go ahead and we have our own categories that we walk around and pick for, and we give people their custom trophies, and then we have the trophies that you guys voted on. So the car show's about 50-50. So we're going to go ahead and read off the chosen trophies first. These are the ones that we went around and picked for you guys, and we'll just kick her off here. So our best rust repair trophy goes to entry number 66, the 1981 Datsun 210, Taylor Pearson.
Yes, I love it.
And a runner-up for that category,
Brian and
Austin. Is
Oh,
Cole Lambert's beautiful rust repair on his 1974 Dodge Charger. Up next we have best bodywork. We're giving that to number 92, the 1974 Ford F100, owned by Perry Polson. Up next, our category for this show, probably the most fitting one here, is rattiest muscle. We chose number 78, the 1964 El Camino, owned by Trevor Lightsky.
Yes.
He's been out here before and he always gives us a show. Up next we have our first full-size tractor award, because it's the first full-size tractor we've had in the show and we appreciate him bringing it out. That goes to the 1936 John Deere P. Well, we could just say the first tractor.
Oh, that's fine. First big tractor. I got the first tractor.
Yeah, I remember that.
Up next, we have kind of a special category. This is new for this year that we chose and decided to do. Last year, we had one of our car show patrons. He didn't want any trophies anymore. He had enough of them. He didn't want any more. But he always brings something that is absolutely worth getting a trophy, and so we had to do something. So this year, we had him walk around, and he chose what he thought should have a trophy. So we have our first annual John McDonald No More Trophies Award. And that goes to number 71, the 1955 Ford Victoria, owned by Bruce McIntosh.
John's the one that sold that car.
So it's really his.
It's his own award, so he gets to choose it. If he wants to be biased, he can. And first, we want to thank you, Bruce, for coming out, and John, as always, for coming out and enjoying the show and just being a part of the spirit and the culture out here. Up next, we have the awards that you guys all voted on. Of course, we were up here counting all your voting slips, getting it all figured out. So we're going to kick her off here with the best classic car trophy. And you guys voted on number 82, the 1965 Chevy Impala, owned by Steve Carey. I do believe he left. So if anybody knows how to get a hold of him to get his award to him, we might need that.
Yep.
Up next, we have the classic truck category. That goes to number 47, the 1969 Dodge D100, owned by Aaron Adams.
We gotta take them both and a toe.
They are. Don't drop them on your foot.
They hold things down. Yes. Up next, we have the specialty category, and you guys voted for number 83, which is the 1973 Honda owned by Howard Wall.
Oh, thank you all. Oh no.
Next, we have the antique category, which goes to number 37, the 1948 Willys owned by Jim Fogarty.
Yay, Jimmy! Hanging on your wall, Jim.
It's going to take quite the shelf.
Yeah.
Up next, we have our modern category. It goes to number 57, the 1982 Volvo 240 Turbo, owned by Jesse Lamar Twelling.
I love the springs on those things. Yeah. You guys did a
And
good
for the
job.
big award here, the best in show, the big double camshaft one that takes 3 people to lift. That goes to number 75, the 1957 Chevy Bel Air, owned by Tracy Brand.
It's a ringer. It's a ringer.
You guys chose it. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming out for the 8th annual show. We look forward to seeing y'all here next year. And, well, have a good day. Thank you.
How many cars total?
Got him better that time.
You did, actually. It's that darn tire rub with that fender. It's
Yep.
slowing him down.